At the El Paso County Department of Human Services, our first priority is to protect children. The protection process begins with the Child Abuse and Neglect Hotline, where the public makes reports.
Child abuse reporting.
We take the phone calls, take the information, have a script that the screeners are asking each caller to better help us make decisions on assignments. And then we research it with various pieces just to help us, again, better make a decision on whether it's going to be assigned.
3 times a day, there are red team meetings where child protection supervisors, individuals from other DHS departments, and representatives from our community partners review all the reports and decide as a team if caseworkers need to follow up immediately, in 3 days, in 5 business days, and if there are specific referrals to community programs that could be made to help support that family.
It's a group process decision now where it looks at a bigger picture about family strengths, family's needs, the history, what risk and safety issues are, as well as what information maybe we need to clarify before we make a response to the family.
Caseworkers go out and investigate about 41% of the reports to the hotline. The determination of whether a report will be assigned for investigation is based on the definitions for abuse and neglect outlined in the Colorado Children's Code.
It is the guideline that we have to follow as a department on our intervention with families. So it's kind of like our playbook. It tells us what we can do, it tells us what we can't do, it helps us understand what types of interventions are available and what our authority really is.
According to the Colorado Children's Code, a caseworker is required to talk to the alleged victim of abuse without the perpetrator, who could be a parent, in the room. Caseworkers do this and talk with the parents or alleged perpetrator as well as anyone else they feel can contribute to the investigation.
Talking to them without that person present gives us a better chance of getting the whole story and a child to tell us what's going on, rather than have that perpetrator in the room and the child feel like they can't talk freely about what's happening.
Often caseworkers go to the home by themselves. If they are concerned for their safety, they can get an escort. But there is an anxiety involved with any home visit.
There have been times when we've gone out to the home and we've had a perpetrator in the home, a domestic violence perpetrator in the home, who's gotten quite loud and yelling and angry, and at that point you just kind of have to, excuse yourself, get out of the situation, make sure that you stay safe.
Not only do caseworkers have to effectively handle extremely volatile situations, but they are exposed to some of the most disgusting living conditions in our community.
Animal feces or cat urine or hoarding type things. And I went out with another caseworker on one where we got out of the car and you could actually smell the cat urine from the street.
Depending on what the caseworker discovers on their initial assessment of the report, there are several possible outcomes. 1, no evidence of abuse or neglect were found, but the caseworker may refer the family to community partners like mental health, military, or domestic violence services. 2, open a voluntary case with the family where they agree to some level of services from DHS. 3, get a court order for mandatory services and provide a treatment plan for the family. 4, remove the children. Removing children from a home is always the last resort.
The caseworkers that we have in our department really believe that families need to be together and that kids deserve to be with families and they deserve to be safe as well. And so they will bend over backwards to work with a family to try and make sure that that child is safe with those parents. And if that child can't be safe with those parents, that they look for the next best thing for those kids, because that's what all children deserve. That's what I would want for my child.
If it is determined a child needs to be removed from a home for their safety, the caseworker works with a county attorney and receives a court order for removal. An effort is first made to place the child with an appropriate relative or close family friend.
We believe that children, if they have to come out of their home, have a right to be placed with somebody that they know, if we can do that. And we have a kinship unit that we actually have 2 kinship units that look for family and look for extended family to be able to take and place kids so that they can be, if they have to be out of home, it's less traumatic if they can be with somebody that they have a relationship with.
If that doesn't work, the children are placed in foster care. In El Paso County, we contract with several child placement agencies who coordinate foster home placements.
The child placement agencies locate, they recruit, They find all our foster homes and our foster families and group homes. And then the Savio case management entity, they actually have hired 26 caseworkers, and staff that provide visitation. And so I think for us, it's just supporting kind of a community partnership to contract out some of these really important services. And so far, for the past many years, it's been working, and I think we want to continue to support those family and those, community partnerships.
An average of more than 500 children are in foster or kinship care on any given day in El Paso County. If possible, the goal is to still return the children to their parents as quickly as is safely possible.
I think that out-of-home care for children is really disruptive, and the statistics are clear that children in foster care don't do as well as children who are residing in their home. So we want to make their experience in out-of-home care as short as possible, and to be really continuing to look for a permanent situation.
When children are removed from parental custody, supervised visits are often part of a family's plan, and many of those take place at the Family Visitation Center run by the Department of Human Services.
One of the things that's unique about the Family Visitation Center is that it opened in 1992, and it was the first visitation center in Colorado that is not adjoined to the Department of Human Services building. It really allows families the opportunity to have more of a home-like environment as they're having contact with their children. They can do things such as prepare meals for their children, art activities, and move around the home instead of being in a structured environment. Some of the purposes and goals of visitation are for our staff to ensure that children are safe, both physically and emotionally. We want to assist and assess and help repair traumatized relationships with the goal of always teaching and mentoring and modeling appropriate parenting skills.
If families successfully follow their treatment plan and it is deemed safe for the children to be returned home, that will occur. If it is determined parental rights should be terminated, the children are then available for adoption.
Sometimes you have parents that just can't, complete their treatment plan. And so for the sake of the children, we have to find them a more permanent setting. But I think it's a decision that weighs heavy on the hearts of caseworkers, and it's a struggle. And I'm happy to say that it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's a pretty difficult decision. But we have to, in the end, do what's the right thing for children. So if we have to terminate parental rights to get them into, the best placement possible, then that's what we have to do to move their case forward.
But it's not just children in our community that need protection. The Department of Human Services is also responsible for investigating allegations of abuse and neglect of at-risk adults who are 18 or older.
Adult Protection receives the reports, we do our investigation, we determine whether or not resources need to be placed into the home to help the person maintain at home, or maybe they need nursing home or assisted living placement, applying for benefits, those type of things. And then also proceeding towards probate court for guardianship or conservatorship for the person.
In 2013, in El Paso County, there were more than 1,000 reports made to Adult Protection.
We accept referrals for abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Exploitation can either mean financial or otherwise.
And the reports of abuse and neglect could increase as the population of those 60 and older is dramatically increasing in El Paso County. At the Department of Human Services, we count on the public to be our eyes and ears in the community and greatly appreciate calls to our hotline if you see something that does not look right. If you suspect child abuse or neglect, please call our hotline at 444-5700. And if you suspect abuse or neglect of an at-risk adult, please call 444-5755. As a reporter, your identity is always confidential. DHS is responsible for the administration of federal and state economic assistance for needy families. These programs and services are established at the state and federal level, and counties are required to deliver these benefits efficiently while promoting self-sufficiency. Food assistance is one such program.
Food assistance program essentially started to help families feed their children and help get individuals out of poverty. Currently, a household of 4 can make about $2,500 a month to receive food assistance.
All the funding for food assistance comes from the federal government. DHS is responsible for screening to determine eligibility and ongoing monitoring to make sure the eligibility standards are met.
For a family with children under the age of 18, recertification happens every 6 months.
The federal government requires timely delivery of food assistance services.
We have 7 days to process expedited cases, and that generally happens when individuals have no income or their income is $150 less than their expenses. Also, if their income is above their expense level, then we have 30 days to process those cases. However, we don't generally take that long. If everybody has their documents, then they can come in and get benefits same day.
The number of people receiving food assistance is tied directly to the economy.
We monitor any of the state reports that come to us to make sure that we're hitting our guidelines, we're touching those cases as quickly as possible.
When a person applies for food assistance, the application is put into the statewide computer database, and a DHS technician schedules an appointment to meet with the applicant. When all the information is in order and complete, the client can walk away with benefits that same day.
We are truly the agency that could either make or break whether or not an individual becomes homeless, because they're using their money to pay their rent, to get food. If we can supplement their income with food stamps to make sure that they have food on the table, then they can pay their rent. So it's extremely important that we work hard to make sure that the clients are receiving the benefits they need as quickly as possible and as accurately as possible to make sure that they have what they need in order to become self-sufficient.
Benefits are shown as credits on a Quest card, which is used much like a debit card, except that it is restricted to food items only. The goal of the food assistance program is to help with the basic nutritional needs of qualified applicants. Monetary assistance is also distributed through El Paso County DHS through a program called Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, also known as TANF.
It's designed to help families become self-sufficient via employment. It is a grant-based program based on eligibility, so families receive a monthly grant, and they also receive assistance with childcare, and they receive assistance with training and education to help them find employment.
TANF recipients are subject to very strict qualification requirements.
You have to meet certain income guidelines and criteria. You have to be responsible for a dependent child, and you have to be lawfully present.
The money distributed comes primarily from the federal government. DHS is required to administer the benefits and maintain tracking to ensure families are completing required work participation activities.
It could be that someone needs their GED or their high school diploma. It could be that someone needs training or retraining for a specific career. Anything from maybe becoming a CNA to short-term training for automotive. Whatever that particular person's goals are, we can provide that level of training.
In some cases, one-time or limited financial assistance is enough to get people back on their feet. This can come from the state diversion program.
That program provides flexible assistance for people who are job ready and provides them some financial support so that they can find employment within that 2-month period of time.
Frequently, the availability of good child care is the key to helping a family attain self-sufficiency.
Good child care is critical for these parents.
The Colorado Child Care Program, also known as CCAP, is primarily funded by federal dollars and helps families afford quality care. Parents pay a portion of the child care cost based on their income, and the CCAP program pays the rest.
It's for families in the community, again, who meet income guidelines and who are lawfully present, can then apply for child care assistance to help with the cost of child care.
El Paso County DHS is also responsible for the administration of the Medicaid program, which supplies health insurance for those living at or below approximately 138% of the federal poverty level. For a family of 4, that's a gross income of $2,600 a month.
It is just like an insurance program, but it's state administered. And so it's used for any number of needs for medical assistance. So you can get, some well baby checkups, well children checkups, immunizations.
Medicaid also finances long-term care.
That includes nursing home and assisted living, as well as 30-day institutional stay for long-term hospital stays over 30 days. It also includes home and community-based services for in-home type of things such as housekeeper, medical, things to prevent nursing home placement.
Timely processing of these applications is critical.
If we're not getting applications processed timely, then the nursing home is out of money. And at $6,000 to $7,000 a month, that adds up pretty fast. That puts an undue stress on the client as well as our economy in the local area for nursing homes who have to basically foot that bill until we get the Medicaid process completed.
Clients who provide improper or incorrect documentation to support their eligibility causes most of the delays.
You need to bring in your verifications of income, citizenship, resources, disability are the four main things.
There are also several programs, the El Paso County Department of Human Services, that go above and beyond to help families achieve self-sufficiency, like the Center on Fathering that is primarily funded through grants.
The services we offer range anywhere from basic information on what it means to be a father to support activities such as a mentoring program and weekly support group to education for fathers. We have a variety of different classes that fathers can participate in that will assist them in better knowing what it means to be a dad and how to respond effectively to the needs of their children.
Employees at DHS also leverage resources in the community to assist clients. One great example of this is our annual Feed the Children event, where through many generous donors in El Paso County, families involved with the Department of Human Services receive food, toiletries, coats, books, and toys, and a day of celebration right before Christmas.
This is not a small event where only a few people are getting helped and few people are getting something. This is an event that's impacting thousands of people across our city.
The El Paso County Community Detoxification Facility is at 2721 East Las Vegas Street. Although the facility is adjacent to the El Paso County Criminal Justice Center, the detox facility in the tent-like structure has its own private entrance.
It's kind of that first step in people that want to get treatment. We're a social detox, not a medical detox, so we're very limited on what we do here, but we are also the only detox in Colorado State that have nurses. So we're kind of a hybrid kind of a detox when you look at the state as a whole as detoxes, because we do provide some type of medical as far as vital signs, some medications to make sure that they're stable when they're here and they're safe when they're here.
Detox is part of the Department of Human Services. The goal is to provide a safe and effective option for adults in need of substance abuse and addiction treatment services, as well as referrals to additional resources. The facility does not provide mental health services.
A lot of people, they reach the point where their life has become unmanageable. They can no longer, the drug or alcohol have taken over their life and they want something better. They've tried to do it on their own alone and that hasn't worked for them. Maybe they don't have the support that they need out there. We do get a lot of clients that are homeless. So we are kind of their support system. They come in here and we support them and try to come up with a plan, a service plan on what's the next step so that they can move forward.
Assessment, safe detoxification, and encouragement for treatment are emphasized through a collaborative approach.
Anybody can come voluntarily that's over 18 years old. For any type of drug. There's a couple drugs that we don't detox from. There's really no symptoms, but they can come voluntarily. They come on DUIs. CSPD will bring them in, or the State Patrol will bring them in. Most of our referrals are from the hospitals. Someone's been in crisis. Maybe they've been drinking too much, they're suicidal, or maybe the drugs are hallucinating, something's going on. People will call for help, and they end up at the emergency rooms, and then they come to us on what's called an emergency commitment, which we can keep someone here up to 5 days until they're stable to go. Ultimately is up to the client, their next step on what they want to do once they leave here.
The employees at DHS work tirelessly to get all clients for every program the assistance they need as efficiently as possible, and are constantly looking at ways to make our system even better. For more information on the El Paso County Department of Human Services, please go to elpasoco.com.